welcome back to the show. I've got Mike Gaskins with me with El Toro Water District. We're going to be talking all about budgets and finances and all kinds of fun stuff. Mike?
And water.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And water.
I'd like to be here.
Yes.
So
nice to have you back. You've got the 25 annual budget, operating budget
something
report.
we have to do every year.
Not pleasant, but necessary.
We are a public agency. We're required by law to be transparent.
Okay.
And there's something called a 218 notice that we spend a lot of effort getting done, and it explains the increases that we have to do. I mean, they just have to do, and why they're taking place. Some boards in the past have artificially limited the increases to something less than is required, and they get into a real deficit situation. And so the catch-up can be really difficult.
Painful.
Yeah, and so I think we're on a really good pace, and as much as I'd like to say there won't be an increase, there will. So.
Yeah, you see that annually, don't you?
We do it annually, and the slide that's being on the screen right now shows where the money goes, where we have to spend it. And the district's about 60 years old, and actually 69 years old, I think. But anyway, one of the things we have to face is aging infrastructure. There are pipes in the ground. There are things at the water reclamation plant that have been there for 60 years.
Wow.
And now we're having to rebuild, repair, and again, use the best available technology as we do that. And so our budget, you see with infrastructure, we've got a top center there, and we have a couple of really big projects. There's day-to-day work, and one of the things that when you think water district, you just think drinking water, but we do wastewater as well. So when you flush the toilet, we take care of all that, and we treat it, and we reclaim some of the water out of it, because raw sewage is about 99% water. And if that just went to the ocean, it's complete waste, you know. And so we reclaim that, and a lot of it's used for irrigation here in the village.
Really?
The golf course, most of Third, et cetera. You'll see the purple pipe. It's a specific color that has to be for the pipe, but it is reclaimed water. So we are multifaceted in supplying not just the village, but other parts of El Toro and Laguna Hills and Laguna Woods.
How many residents do you service? Do you know?
We're a little more than 10,000. Little more than 10,000, and we have 60 employees.
Wow.
That do all the work, and they're out there working every single day, and sometimes nights, making sure everything's safe.
Yeah, this is a lot. So with those older pipes, Mike, do they go in and do they treat the inside so that they don't corrode from the outside?
It depends on the situation. Most of the corrosion, the stuff going through it is probably more corrosive than anything outside.
But a lot of times there's like tree roots.
Tree roots,
or
we
things
have,
that penetrate the
I don't know,
pipes.
somewhere here we have a crew that specifically runs a little robotic camera down through the pipes and looks. And if there are tree roots intruding, and they are sometimes, we have a machine that goes in and trims them.
Is that the labor at 11 million?
Part of the labor, 11 million, right, and the maintenance.
Yeah.
We have a very large reservoir on the edge of Mission Viejo that we recently had to cover and line, and it was an overall $20 million project that we shared with one of our neighbors, Santa Margarita Water District. The pie diagram behind you shows what percentage of our income goes to what, and you can see that water is actually less than sewer.
It is.
You know,
Wow.
the operations and maintenance. We buy water from, we don't have any wells, we don't have a geology under us that allows us to pump water, so we have to import it, and it all comes from the Metropolitan Water District. And so the purchased water is a cost we can't change. Whatever they decide is what we have. And so we pass that increase, whatever it will be, on through. The other stuff we try to mitigate as much as we can. And the capital infrastructure is where we're talking about replacing pipes, building new structures, et cetera. And because we have had to borrow money in several cases,
Really?
we have a debt service, and that's pay the interest.
Interesting.
So all of that combines to make the budget. We are a public agency. We don't have a profit. There's no profit involved, and I've never understood how a private water company can be, because they have to make a profit. And we're cut about as lean as we can get, as few employees as we can. We do contract out work to get things done, to get specific things. We try to be as energy efficient. We continually talk with Edison about saving things. The little boxy building there that says Tesla on it is batteries. And during times when the demand is at a peak, their battery system comes in and adds power so that we don't impact Edison as strong, and it saves us money. And
Mike, go into just a little bit of a detail. Where does that power go? Who's using that power?
Our treatment plant specifically. It's over by, it abuts the golf course and the RV storage lot. The plant is right there. There's not a name on the street, but basically it's near the corner of Ridge Route and Moulton. And it's right there. And every once in a while there's a little waft of odor that sweeps up, but for the most part we do really well. And in that plant, you see the picture of the clarifier there. That's one of the essential parts for operation of the plant. The first one that was put in over 60 years ago. Wow. And it is failing. We have 3 in there. So part of our current project that we just approved yesterday at the Engineering and Finance Committee meeting was to rebuild that. And
so that clarifier then, Mike, is that where the sewage is treated?
Sewage comes in, is kind of strained to get the big lumps out, people that flush the wipes, and things like that. We strain that out. It goes into an aeration basin, which gives a lot of oxygen to the bacteria. The treatment plant itself is alive. It's pretty much a living organism, and most of it's biological. And so it could go hours on that. But the treatment plant, the clarifier is where any solids we couldn't digest settle out. And that's what that does.
Interesting.
So anyway, rate adjustments, because we're here to talk about budget.
Yes.
We have a tiered rate system depending on your usage. If you're a minimal usage, you pay 33 cents per 100 cubic feet. The recycled water is based on the tier 2 rate, but it's less even than the tier 1. So if you're irrigating with that, it's cheaper than using potable water. Water operations and maintenance. Some water districts charge the customers purely on the water that comes in, which seems nice and fair, except that there's a lot of infrastructure that had to be built and maintained in order to deliver that water to you. And if they can't pass that cost on to the customer, our budget is based on both infrastructure and the cost of the water.
So overall, the average cost increase per dwelling is between $5 and $8 a month.
This is here in the woods, in Laguna Woods, or in the Laguna Woods Village. If you look at the pie chart on the left, it shows what percentage from each section, and then of that, like Third, United, the towers, GRF in general, which GRF would be the golf course, would be using a lot of water. And then the parts of that are the other one. But the average cost is going to be $5 to $8 per month per unit. Okay. And so if you were living outside Laguna Woods, the average water bill is probably in the $120 a month range. Wow. And so their increase will be higher than that.
Mike, thank you so much for all that information. I appreciate the update. All right, everyone. When we come back, Home Helpers will be with us.